So I'm thinking what I could do next. What I could do next, because I know, for example, I've showed you a bunch of those aerial refs or archivist shots, or how shit is built in real life, like the airport, right? And it was quite massive on scale. But the thing is, I don't want to build like an extremely huge layout. I don't want to continue expanding on this outwards. What I want to do now is just find maybe a bunch of different angles, and based on those angles, I might take steps towards refining to what's actually visible in the frame, right? So I was trying to build the whole layout, right? And we were trying to refine like different parts of it, right? But now I'm getting at a point, or we are getting at a point where um if you were to refine everything in here to for this layout to work at every possible angle, like it will take just a shitload of time, right? So instead, what I want to do, I want to find some composition first, and then based on those compositions, I want to figure out what I need to flesh out more, right? So this is one of the things that I want to do. I'm going to write it down, because the other thing that I want to do is talk a bit about lighting. I changed the lighting scenario, because I talked about like how volumetrics they can they're slightly limited, or how we need to hack them, right? And while I will be changing the layouts, I will want to talk about the compositors a bit now. Compositors and post-processing. When I use talk compositors, I mean post-processing, right? So there is this note. If you want to go into your compositor window, you might not have this window, right? You might have like something else in here. So you want to go over here in the corner and change to compositor, or press Shift F3. Oh no, I thought I'm gonna be smart because I've seen a shortcut, right? So in order to turn it on, you want to go over here and click the compositor to enable it. Now I'm gonna talk about compositor in a second, because the thing is, I will always build up, start working on a scene with like a preset of compositor nodes, because it will just speed up the whole process. And whenever I'm changing the lighting, I know I need to adjust my compositor nodes, and I wanted to do like a segment in this video about like post-processing. But now I'm realizing, because there are so many things that I want to talk about, like post-processing and lighting has to do well with understanding, building our understanding in lighting, and it also has to do with understanding like color theory. And what I want to say is, lighting and compositor takes a shitload of time to explain, and I'm still gonna do it. But first, I need to start wrapping up the tutorial. And what I'm gonna do after I'm gonna release this tutorial, I'm gonna just release a bunch of videos talking about lighting, and maybe some lighting in general on YouTube's for free, right? So, but I'm still gonna explain you the notes, and I'm still gonna explain here the changes that I've made. It's just that I really want to spend my time explaining the lighting and the compositors like on a fundamental level, because I mean, I don't want for people to just like copy the steps, right? I want you to understand it a bit better. So yeah, I'm gonna do it, and for sure I'm gonna talk about lighting in a YouTube video that I'm gonna release like right away after releasing this tutorial. But anyway, I'm sidetracking right now. So before I start looking for shots, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transition to slightly more polished version of this scene. And about what we got in here, I've just noticed like this, because I was moving and rotating the decal, like this decal ended up kind of right in the middle. So this from the compositor on, right? Like it's kind of, well, maybe not in the middle. But what I wanted to say is maybe distance between here and distance between here, or maybe distance between those elements and those elements. But the thing is, as we gonna keep adding and adding more elements to our scene, this is just normal I'm thinking about number halves, right? And at some point, there will be so many elements in the scene that I will just have to compromise. But I'm still thinking like I'm gonna make this the decal a bit more, but I don't really want to now to spend time refining my scene, because right now it will be just about, maybe if I were to continue working on the scene, right, I would flesh out this texture, maybe cut this block into a pieces, because concrete blocks aren't usually like this big, or maybe differently. Stuff gets assembled from like huge concrete blocks, right? They're not like 50 meters tall, like I'm imagining if this were like a leg made out of concrete blocks, it should be cut into a bunch of smaller pieces, right? And the last thing that I want to talk about just quickly is I kind of don't like how this form, this shadow area, meaning I really want for this value-wise, I want for this object to stand out, and those darks are slightly distracting me, and I've noticed that it has to do with the height of my wall. So at some point, and this is like fine-tuning shit, right? Dark spots, lighter spots. So I'm moving my boundary walls and some I might move some other elements because I really want to push the clarity of this object. Now I'm just gonna save this one and move to the scene. You will find in your blend files to this one. So I was able to clean the scene a bit. All right, so here's slightly more polished version of the scene. Now it will look, of course, a bit different than the scene that we are building up, meaning I try to recreate my steps, right, one by one, but there are so many elements already placed that you won't be able to get it to like the exact, I don't know, layout or the dimensions or the exact before there are so many pieces in here, right? Something has to look different because again I was just trying to retrace my steps and spend my sweet time explaining shit. But what you're seeing right now is basically, as I said, I refined this area. I've used box cutter to cut this leg into like smaller chunks, right? And then I've just added the same texture that I've been reusing on a bunch of blocks. Now I want to say that there's all like a lot of shit that still needs refining here, right? But what I want to do first is I want to like I want to talk about a couple of scenarios. So for example, the scenario one would be I'm working with a client, and the client is asking me to, hey man, let's do a bunch of additional shots, right? So what I can do is I can start flying my camera around. And now because I've built my scene with longer lenses, now if I change to shorter one, yeah, I will have even more depth in my images, right? So I can start talking with the client, and the client, for example, might want to expand on the layout up, meaning maybe there's a bunch of walkways in here, maybe there's like some shit sticking out, right? Maybe there are some walkways in here, meaning the client might ask me to expand on the layout, right? That's one of the scenarios, and I'm just like hypothetically talking, because now what I want to do, because I don't want to confuse it, because now just for the sake of the tutorial, what I want to do is I want to find a bunch of shots, and then I want to change the lighting entirely, change the compositor entirely. Now what I'm trying to get at is when working with client, even if he asks me for to do a bunch of different shots, or he's asking me to explore different areas of this layout, I might want to stay consistent with the lighting. But on the other hand, sometimes I will take my like creative liberty, or I'm gonna like call a shot or I'm gonna make a creative choice to I will change my lighting to, how do I say it? I want to find better lighting maybe for a bunch of different shots. What I want to say is because just because the lighting works for this shot, it doesn't mean it might work, for example, for another shot, right? So with each shot, when working with client, I might like I alter the lighting. Sometimes I might change it entirely, but for the sake of this tutorial, because I want you to get as much as possible out of those videos, is I'm gonna change the shot and I'm gonna change the lighting entirely. And not only that, I'm gonna be messing up, breaking up the layout a bit more, moving some pieces away. So let me circle back all right, let's just we have a God damn it, again, I'm trying to talk about too many things at once. So what I want to do now is let's focus on this. I have my scene established, right? And I just want to start looking for additional shots. So I've added a different camera and I've changed the focal length to shorter ones. So immediately I'm thinking, right, because I don't want to expand the layout outwards, I'm instantly thinking I want to explore what's maybe under here. and I'm just gonna make like my idea for the story was where people meet, right? So it can be like a bar, it can be like a hangout place, and I've already spent up so much time working on those areas that now I'm like, all right, let's just try to squeeze out more out of this layout, right? And what I'm gonna do now in next in here, because I still want to do maybe explore some frames, is I might start refining whatever is in this frame, right? And now is where I'm starting, we're really thinking about, all right, let's work on what's within the frame. Let's focus less on the general layout or spacing of this whole environment, because this is already figured out to some extent, right? So I just want to find additional shots. I just copy this camera. And there is this one thing that I might want to sometimes do with depth of field. I know most of you are familiar with depth of field with this settings, f-stop, right? Like how it adds. Oh, that's on the camera. How f-stops add a bit of a blur, right? But I don't want to change the f-stops, actually. I want to change the ratio. Usually the ratio is 1, but I wanted to change it like... You see what happens if I change it to 0.01? It gives this blur to the size, right? And this is drastic, this is dramatic. I don't want to go like this low, right? But what I'm trying to get at is ratio. When we are working with camera, we are like tweaking it like so, like so, like so. And sometimes I really just want to bring extremely low values. Like so, for example, right? Because sometimes I will want for the stuff that appears, for example, near the frame, like here, I want to lower the ratio, because I don't want for to be in the final image to see those boxy elements in the foreground. Like this is something that breaks immersion in 3D shots, right? You want to frame something, and then right in the front of your frame, you get to see like those huge and well chunky elements, right? But I'm still gonna be refining this area. But all right, Piotr, let's find the shot. So I'm thinking this shot might be cool. Why this shot might be cool? Because I'm already sensing so many rhythms and movements in here. Meaning, I mean, besides like there's a lot of shit that I've already like fleshed out, right? But I really like how there's also this circular rhythm going inwards, and I established this. So I'm thinking that I will only need like maybe, I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours to make this shot like entirely its own. And what I will want to do, not to confuse you anymore, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna be changing the mood entirely. Meaning, I'm gonna be changing the mood entirely. Let's just find a bunch of different shots that I might want to work on. Let's copy this camera. Pam pam pam. I might do actually one additional shot that's a bit more dynamic, meaning I might do one shot with fisheyes. I'm not a huge fan of fisheye, meaning those can be cool. I'm not even familiar with what I should go. Should click in here. Let me figure this shit out. Pam pam pam. Nope. It was this one, I think. Yeah. Fisheye Equisolid. So I might do an extra shot with fisheyes. I mean, in general, what I always want to do whenever I'm building a scene, I want to do as many shots as I can. Meaning, if I've established this, like just coming with this additional shots, like that just feels slightly different, it already adds more value to the images, and for sure it will add more value to the client. I mean, with each frame, I kind of want to show something else, right? But still, I'm just trying right now to get a bit more value out of what I've done, and I'm thinking one shot should be like a fisheye, could be like a fisheye shot. And I had those dudes on a bench in here. And of course, I might be changing the arrangement of my pieces or the placement of my pieces. So this was actually good. And by the way, like I've thought, right? Fuck, Piotr. If we look at the top view, I'm sorry, my brain is. Sometimes I refer to myself, fuck, Piotr. I'm referring to my brain that my brain is already thinking about a bunch of different shit. So we are building the layout like carefully to follow this rhythm, to echo this circular movement. But now we kind of, just like with this pillar, we kind of want to start breaking some symmetry to make it actually less obvious, right? And in the end, if we'll be looking from the eye view perspective, like even if the layout would appear so simple in the top view, it won't feel as simple when we're looking from ground level perspective. Whoa. Oh, and I'm flying. This is important too. The way I'm flying my camera is I'm pressing Shift and F. I'm pressing Shift and F, and now I'm going into FPS mode, meaning I'm rotating from, just like how we would play a game. I'm moving with SAT on my keyboard. Let's see if Shift F, no. Oh, you can search Shift F. Because I think in newer versions of Blender, you might have different shortcuts, right? Oh, so if you want to bind your, I'm not sure if in new Blender Shift F works. That's why I'm showing you this. You might want to key map your building towards like view navigation workflow, right? You will have the shortcut, or you can build your shortcut here in settings. So it's so much easier to navigate your camera this way instead of like, you know, pressing G. All right, let's move on another axis. Like this is fucking cancer. This isn't you aren't supposed to work this way, I think. Alright, so I'm thinking one of my shots could be this. And I'm gonna grab my friend Niels over here. Ooh. There's too much shit in this one collection. Niels. And I had to tweak the scene in a way where I was just optimizing, like cutting out decimating shit and optimizing textures down, right? So there will be another video. Fuck me. There will be a video about a segment about optimizing your scenes from the previous tutorial. All right, it works. It loaded new textures. That's cool. Always keep your scene unpacked. Let's spawn a Niels. So I'm thinking this could be one of the shots too, because it feels dynamic, it feels, I think, cool. I don't know. I kinda like it. It feels dynamic and it's free. Now what I might want to do is actually start maybe for this shot figuring the area behind the character over there, right? But let's explore some other cameras first. Some different shots first. Let's save the file. Now what I might want to do is, I might want to do a shot like this, for example. I think this might be cool. Right, like how it's radiating out, but maybe from, like so, wait, from left to right, right? So I'm thinking we read from left to right, right? And if our focal point is over there, then it means I want for my focal point to be on the right in my scene. Now, I don't think I'm gonna, maybe I will work on this shot, but now this shot gives me, it's, I don't want to say like a challenge, but in order for this shot to work, now I want to, might start figuring out that, what I might want to start figuring out is the ground, because I really like the circular array of how the repetition of the ground. But what I don't like, because I've picked my camera and my horizon line is so extremely high right now, it really means I would want to refine this texture a bit. And this is where only here, when I've refined my scene to a certain point where I'm looking for additional shots, and sometimes I'm gonna look for establish the frames in the blockout, in the layout while building layer. But what I want to say is this is only now I might start considering like finding some juicy ground shaders, and only now I might start considering like building some more complex ground shaders, just because ground will now take like majority of my screen, right? Which means I might want to, this is my new problem that I might to solve, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna be working in the for this frame. Let's find another shot. But again, this is a conscious choice, right? Look like where the horizon line is, and this is in my to the right side. My focal point is on the right side, and also I'm thinking if I were to actually busy this scene up, I might for this shot like start introducing bigger crowds of people, or I'm sorry, more crowds of people, in a way where concentration of them, there will be like huge group of them in here, and there will be smaller group in here, smaller group in here, maybe a group in here. And as those people will be receding into the distance, the groups of people, circles of people will get smaller, meaning in here there might be like a couple of dozens of people, in here there might be like a table or two tables grouped together. But just like in nature, there is like a fall off, and as we'll be going back and back, right, there is this rhythm. There will be one people over here, couple of people over here, maybe a table over here, right? So there will be this rhythm of groups of people radiating out, and what happens. I mean, it's in nature, but also when you I don't know. This is like the point of interest, meaning it's only natural for groups of people to be gathered denser in here. Like if there was something interesting in here, then the group of people would be over here, right? It makes sense, but it's also visually pleasing, like this rhythm, bam, 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 bigger, 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 and bigger, right? Let's find another shot. But I think I'm just gonna refine one or two shots, because this is so, the tutorial is already so long. Like I might want to do this because I've spent so much time refining those pillars. So like I might, this is where I might start adding, I found actually a better shot in here. With this camera, with this camera, with this camera. No. Fuck. Oh, with this camera. Oh, that's not the camera. All right. So I might go into like even shorter lenses now. And what I like about this shot is that God damn it, I don't like this one that much. Where did the camera go? Piotr, you got this. Find the fucking shot again. You got this. You brave. I'm a bit distracted by... Maybe let's remove this bounding box. Oh, I've already committed to the bolo one. Anyway, what I wanted to say is I spent some time refining this area, right? So now what I might want to do is I might start adding some Tori tidbits. So I'm pretty sure I won't be doing this shot, but what I was thinking if I were to do it is maybe I'll push the camera a bit back. Let's try longer frame. Oh, longer lenses work better. Or maybe not. What I'm looking for is I have this element in my foreground, and now I have this element in my background. So what I'm trying to look for is like a shot where there will be, I've established this shape and it's receding into the distance, right? But now I'm thinking this could be a cool shot actually. This could be a cool shot, and here's why. Because I could add a dude in here, and this dude is welding something, and then there's other dude hanging from like a line, and he's like instructing the other dude, right? This shot gives me an excuse to push some story tidbits through characters, and of course, in order for this shot to work, I would need to figure out what's going on in here. So maybe there could be this wall, or maybe there could be a some passage underneath, like this bevel going under, like so, or maybe on the ground there is this circular thing following the motion, and it does this ecliptical thing, and it's a bunch of steps going out, going up, and then I would have to refine this, right? Yoshi. Ooh. We're gonna cuddle later. And of course, I would have to figure the ground. But the thing is, right? If I would figure the ground for the other shot, then this shot would also would be easy to follow up on. And then of course I could like add a maybe character in here. And I'm pretty sure like how this shot would go a long way if I just like were added maybe differently. What I could have added in here is, for example, a bunch of like stragons or makeshift shops, right? Like I might want to push the story a bit, and I'm thinking, uh, um, if this is a place where people met, I mean, we've all been to places, what I want to say, when there is like a, I don't know, like giant mall or giant shopping center, and then if you exit it, you go into parking lot. Parking lot, there's like a bunch of smaller booths, right, selling shit. But let's try to find a different shot. And again, I'm just talking out ideas, right? Like how easy it is to grab your camera and start fucking around with it. And I'm just like for now playing with short lenses, even shorter ones. So I'm thinking like this could be a cool story tidbit too. But I might want to focus my frame on this pillar. But I'm a bit distracted by those volumetrics. Alright, let me pause the video in here and we'll continue. Here's the OG scene. The original scene. In here I found a bunch of different shots as well. But this scene is working slightly worse. And again, whenever the scene is working extremely slow, I mean, I know I keep talking shit about Blender, and for sure there is like some shit they need to figure out as in performance wise. But anyway, this scene, oh, it doesn't work as terrible as I thought. Oh, this is the one I've already started to clean. So when your scene starts to slow down, there can be so many causes, but one of the main ones is your texture total data size is too big. You have a number in here. If you go past like 1000 megabytes, then you're fucked. If your vertices, like I'm going on running on 4090, which means I can build my scene up to like 20 million vertices. Like for 3090, I think the cap was like 15 or 16 million vertices. But what I want to say is I always want to push to keep my scene optimized. Anyway, looking for additional shots. I really like this one, but again, this is focal point and it's on the left side, right? I think it could be fine. Maybe, but this shot, I know this shot could work better. God damn it, now I want to refine this shot. Fuck me. And I talked about, here's when I can start like maybe pushing some PBR materials or figuring out the ground. So this is what I've started doing within this shot. And mainly I have this rule where the main PBR materials or something that I'm gonna like, if I were to fuck around with the textures and get caught up in here, I will mainly do it with ground materials and with wall materials because well, if I have source of lights over there, I want to for the ground material to be affected by those lights or by the ambient light, but we're gonna go into tweaking lighting, changing lighting in a second. What else I want to show you? Some other shots. These are the same. Oh, I haven't talked even about doing working with like long lenses. Oh, so this is the shot I had in mind, right? I have this in here. I could add a bunch of dudes in here, refine this area, refine that area in the distance, put like some, god damn it, stop fucking lagging. Put some shops over here and crowds of people, right? Now I can start also working with like extremely longer lenses in here, but let's go 60 millimeters. But if I do, all right, I'm just gonna swap to. You see like how it's freezing, right? I don't know what's the cause. I mean, the scene you will have the new one. I just carried over it to the new one, new file, optimized everything, so your scene should be running smooth. But let's circle back to this scene quickly. And let's talk about shots with long lenses. So in case of this environment, I don't think I'll want to do like long lenses shot, like shots that are like above 45 millimeters, because I want to go in, no doubt, the layout. But let's see. Like 75. This is cool, for example, but what's going on right now is I really wanted for this establishing shot, for this shape to fill the frame. And it feels like as I'm zooming out the camera, right, I'm taking away from the feeling of scale. But maybe some of this could be like a cool shot. But now I think like I will have to start refining those areas. And again, as I'm zooming out, this becomes less important, right? And the size become bigger in the frame. Let's see the boundaries. I've added the walls back. Yeah, I don't want those walls because they're blocking my camera. And the other thing, as I'm zooming in, zooming out, you can see like I already start to have figured out this shit over here and this stuff over here, right? So instead, what I want to do is I just want to zoom in. But again, like my main point is, if you establish a layout and if you slightly start refining the scene, no matter, this layout doesn't have to be like a huge expansive one in order for you to find additional shots, right? Is there something else I want to talk about? All right.